Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is The Timeless Sands of India. It was written by John Hook, and he will be our game master. This is episode 4. I will do the recap as Nathaniel Crane. So, without any... No, that's wrong. My name is Nestorius Crane. Sorry, let me start over. I don't know my own name. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is The Timeless Sands of India. It was written by John Hook, and he will be our game master. This is episode 4. I will do the recap as Nestorius Crane. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. I am so tired. My head aches and my judgment fails. I cannot concentrate. I came to India looking for a solution, drawn by a vision of the blue elephant, to an import company owned by an old yogi mystic named Ali Khan, who claims that we have all been called by some Hindu deity into a war between darkness and light. There are more deities in India than there are men to worship them. And I find the whole thing preposterous, as any sensible Christian would. But I'm not thinking clearly. I have been witness to a suicide, which we strongly suspect was murder. There was a fire aboard our ship. My friends were scalded. We've been shot at. I feel like we're being watched and listened to from some vantage point outside the normal world. The Hindus might believe that the myriad of deities are watching us, assisting us. I think it's something far darker. Somewhere out there, there are beings out there in the ether watching us for their entertainment, laughing at our tragedy. Oh God, I'm so tired. I think I'm slowly descending into madness. This mystic, Ali Khan, is attempting to teach us some sort of mind trick he claims will help us find the sleep we need. So far, it doesn't work for me. He seemed to know that we were coming, but every charlatan out there takes advantage when presented with suggestible people. This could all be nonsense. We're heading west as soon as we're packed to protect some thing that the yogi claims is the heart of the problem. I think he said a library. My ability to resist has failed me. I just want to sleep or die. Maybe Mr. Adam Fuller found the best solution, a noose around the neck, a few moments of discomfort, and then sweet, unending bliss. I'll admit the appeal is there. But let's see how this plays itself out. I hope the watchers are entertained.
Wow. Well done. So as you met with Ali Khan, Uncle, he has asked that you call him Uncle, and his nephew, Guru, he taught you spent several hours trying to learn the methods of deep meditation. And if I recall correctly, Major Barnes and Mr. Ramachandran were successful in reaching that meditative state that is calming their center so that they will actually have an opportunity to try and get some sleep, while those who were unable to find that balance within themselves, are continually plagued by the nightmares. He insisted that you stay, rest. He fed you, and he has rooms, space available in his apartment for everyone to try and get some sleep, so that in the morning you'll be able to make for the train station. And so it's about 11 o'clock at night when you guys finally retire and try to put to actual use your deep meditation skills. So you guys have turned in. No sooner do your heads hit the pillows when suddenly there's a crash and you are awoken, and you guys hear noises happening downstairs. It sounds like possibly from the warehouse that you walked through, that warehouse in the rear of the Ali Khan Imports shop. There are clear sounds of things crashing, chunks of, it sounds like wood breaking apart. It sounds like pottery breaking apart. There's men yelling, and there's a droning noise, a deep rumbling. It's an inhuman sound that none of you have ever heard before, and it kind of echoes through the chambers. And as you guys are awakening to this commotion, it doesn't feel like you've had any sleep whatsoever. Even for those who were successful with the deep meditation, there's footsteps and running activity happening in the hallway outside. Just as a quick reminder, when you came up the stairs from the warehouse, the stairs came up into like a living room area, and there was a kitchen, and then there was a long hallway. And along that hallway were some bedrooms and a water closet, and then at the front, or what would be a room that's over the shop, the import shop proper, with windows overlooking the front street. That was Uncle's room. And so you guys are in that hallway with the bedrooms that are in the middle of the hallway. And so there's people running back and forth from Uncle's room to the living room right outside your door.
Right. I'm going to cross the room to my clothes. I'm in my robe, and I get my 38.
Now, was that something you were carrying with you when you went to Ali Khan Imports? They sent a man to go back to your hotel and gather your things. He has not returned yet. You don't have all of your gear. So what was it? Whatever it was that you were carrying on you when you arrived at Ali Khan Imports, that is what you have.
I always carry my gun, so I'm afraid of criminals. So.
Okay, so you're not in your robe. You're just kind of in your clothing right
now. Oh, that's
still.
right. That's right. Okay. All right, so I'm in my clothes. But I'm going to go to the door, open the door, and look out into the hallway, and I've got my gun in my hand.
There were two young women who were cooking the dinner. They are in a bedroom right across from you. They're also standing in their open doorway with their house robes held tight around themselves, and they have looks of fear on their faces. And there was an older man who you met initially when you came in, Sanjay, and Guru, the young teenager. He's there too, and they're speaking to the women, and they're saying, get dressed. We have to go. We have to leave quickly. And then Guru turns to you and says, quickly, my friends, please come quick. We must flee.
Oh boy, what is happening?
All right.
We don't know. We are under attack. And then Guru runs to Uncle's room, down the hall to Uncle's room.
All right.
Is there anything in my room or in the way out of my room that I could use as a weapon? Just a piece of wood or something more. I think more just to make me feel a bit safer, really, rather than
Certainly, yeah. There's a table, and it's just a little side table. It's got a single turned leg with a small flat tabletop. You could easily whack that thing off, and then you could have that turn, that single table leg.
I'll twist the leg off. And,
all right,
I'll
you have a club.
Yeah. Okay.
And it feels pretty sturdy.
I assume that Phoebe had separate quarters from the rest of us, but were the gentlemen all in one room? Or
yes, you're right. Phoebe, you were actually with the women as well, and so all the gentlemen were in one room. Phoebe, you were in the same room with the women who are named. Okay. I just can't remember them right now. Here we go. Jaya and Anjali. So you were with Jaya and Anjali in their room, and you guys all heard the ruckus as well and awoke. And
this side bedroom we were in, has it any windows to the street or a courtyard or anything? Or is it
to an alley? There's an alley below, and there's a small, probably like a 15-foot gap to a rooftop over there. Luckily, though, that is a single-story building, or maybe like a story and a half. Yours is taller, so while it is 15 feet across, it's more like 10 down. So
one would likely fall onto it if one wanted to.
Yeah, if you were to have a successful jump roll, you could make it across.
And the window is big enough to crouch in. It's not barred and. Is
not barred. Yeah, you can easily fling it wide open. It doesn't even really have glass. It's just shuttered, and so you just kind of push the shutters open, and it's a large portal. So you could have a running start and kick off from the sill and away you go.
Down in that courtyard
alley,
is there signs of violence? Are there attackers? If the window's open, do we hear that machine sound or that thing?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a machine. It does sound organic, but it doesn't sound like anything you've ever heard before. If you open the windows and look outside, it is about midnight, so it's only been about an hour since you attempted to go to sleep. So it's pitch black out, but you can give me a spot hidden. You're going to need at least a hard success. Don't forget that I believe you have a penalty die.
My penalty from yesterday would still be intact.
Yeah.
And I rolled an 81 for the first roll anyway, so I can't really do worse than that.
It's just dark.
But there aren't torches or flashlights or gunshots. I would see that. So it's just nothing.
And the noise, now that you have the window open, you're positive the noise is happening indoors in the warehouse that you guys briefly walked through when Sanjay was bringing you in. You briefly went through it, got up into an office, and then through the office went up more stairs into the living quarters.
All right, so gentlemen, we have another way out through this window if we become trapped, but I think we should see if we can fight our way through.
Yeah, we should defend the ladies.
Quite.
Lockhart.
I'll walk down the hallway to the warehouse and open the door to the warehouse, and I'm going to shoot anybody running at me with a knife or anything like that.
Let me come with you. You shouldn't go anywhere on your own, Crane. It's not safe.
Ramachandran, you have a cane there. Might I have the table leg then?
Yes, I completely forgot about my cane. Yes, take this.
Thank you, good sir.
And the table must have at least two more legs, even as a triangle.
It was a single little pedestal leg.
All right, I'm looking around for something else then.
It's a house of imports. There's probably something.
Right there.
There's a kitchen. There's a kitchen not too far away.
I'm gonna go grab a knife from the kitchen.
I'll convince you.
It's India. There'll be cheap sabers in velvet cases everywhere.
Many of them very brittle. Okay, Miss Lockhart, I come with you.
And I'll take a knife, but I really look unsure of what I'm going to do with it.
Okay.
But
You're going to stay behind us.
Nice. Okay, so Guru comes with Uncle, and you guys are all in the living room. You know, the main living room next to the kitchen, and there's the stairwell that goes down into the office, which overlooks the warehouse. And Sanjay comes running from up the stairs. He comes from the office, and he's coming up the stairs, and he looks pale, and he's yelling at Uncle that a demon is attacking, and that we must flee. We must flee. There's a demon. What do you guys do? Uncle is calm and thinking.
Well, I was at the door at the top of the stairs, so I let Sanjay in, but I've got the door half open, and I'm standing there, and I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, you hear noises. You hear men in a battle with something. If Sanjay's to believed, it's some kind of demon. But right now, all you have are sounds. Your visibility is just down the stairs, and you can see a portion of the office, the warehouse office. But right now, it's just sounds. It doesn't sound like it's actually in that office yet. It sounds like it's still all the way in the warehouse proper.
All right. I think I'm freaked out. I'm going to go back with the others. Where are we going to go? What's we going to do?
Well,
Did it seem like Uncle's men were getting the upper hand, or are they being pushed back?
I can't see. It's around the corner. I don't want to go any nearer, but perhaps we should take Uncle and go out the back door, if there is such a thing.
well, but there are people there, and
There are women and children here.
I don't like to run.
We need to save them. This is not right. With the club, I'll step towards the door.
All right, I'll go with you. Perhaps Phoebe should guide the others out the back door, if that's possible.
So you know that you're up on this what would really kind of be like a third story, right? This building is fairly tall. So do you know?
Herr Crane, the only way out I know is out the window we were sleeping in, which is a jump, not for children or even women, probably. And if we are to fight to defend the library, perhaps we start the fight here.
Perhaps they know a better way out. I mean, it's a warehouse. There should be multiple ways in and out.
Yes,
think.
On the ground floor, for sure.
Only one stairs down. Well, let's go clear the way then. Perhaps I don't know how grandfather's or uncle's going to go out the window. He's old.
He seems pretty old, pretty frail.
We will go forward.
We'll be able to see more when we get to the office with windows also.
Do we have any more lamps or torches or anything up here? The upstairs. Are the lights on?
Yes, the power is on in the building.
Okay. So if we can see, then let's just go. I say I'm so frightened my English accent's disappeared.
Okay, so is everyone going to head down the stairs to the office?
Yes.
Yes.
That is my intention.
Okay.
With a purpose.
So Uncle, Guru, Sanjay, Anjali, and Jaya, they are all going to follow you as well. Uncle's like, if we could just get to the streets, we could make our escape. He's like, I have a place we could run to that I think we should be safe, but clearly we must get out of here.
Then that's what we shall do, Uncle.
Guru, do we know what sort of demon this is?
Guru is like, I don't know. I don't know. And Sanjay interjects and says, "It is a savage thing. It is a beast, a demon from straight from the depths of hell." So you guys head down the stairs. You enter into the office that has a bird's eye overlook of the warehouse. And as you get in there and you look through these windows, you see this creature. It's bipedal. It looks like it's probably close to 10 feet tall, and it looks like it's got just terrible, almost like maybe the flesh is burned and blistered with weird hairs. It's got an impossibly strange insectoid shaped head with multiple compound eyes, large mandibles, huge arms that are multiple segmented with these large almost like mantis like claws, and it's just swinging its arms around and it's smashing into these poor warehouse workers, and they're just being tossed like rag dolls. As you all see this creature, everyone make a sand roll.
Okay.
Good.
Fail.
Oh,
Pass.
6.
Nice. Fail.
Fail. Run away. Run away.
It's actually a good time to roll a 97.
So those of you, certainly, because there's no fumble for sand rolls. Those of you who are successful, you will lose 0. But those of you who have failed, please roll a D10 and lose that much sand.
D10. Oh, 5.
Ooh.
It's going to be one of those days. 10.
Wait, did you roll a 10?
I rolled a 10 out of a 10. It's the same. I won't get into it now. Never mind. Moving on.
You're my favorite.
So see, normally we fail these things in pairs, but you see, I did okay this time. You were supposed to do okay this time. We're not in sync anymore.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
That might be a good thing. It will save you. Run, Miss Lockhart, run.
Okay, so for those of you who lost 5 or more sanity, please give me an idea roll. Also, everyone who lost sanity, regardless, gain 5 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
Nice.
So gain your Mythos and give me a idea roll.
I failed my idea roll.
Since the idea roll is a mental process, is that with a
No,
Intelligence.
Because this is a sanity mechanic and not something you're doing, not a skill. There's no penalty dice for this sanity mechanic.
Okay, well, 6.
Excuse me. 6. Oh, that sounds like you made a successful idea roll.
Yeah, incredibly, unfortunately.
Your brain puts all the parts and pieces together. Mr. Crane, your brain is like, no. That's a guy in a rubber suit.
Oh, well, my reaction is still I'm going to start shooting at it.
Of course. Did anybody else have a failed sand roll that they needed to do an idea roll, and were you successful or not?
I lost only 4 sands, so
you're safe.
I'm just yelling.
And I think Phoebe and Mr. Ramachandran, you guys made your sand roll, so there was no need for the idea roll. And I'm trying to remember, actually, I'm forgetting, because this is a confrontation with a Mythos creature. You were successful with your sand roll. Do you get the Mythos points?
No, I think you get the 5 points when you have a first year bout of madness from seeing a Mythos creature for the first time. You
Okay.
get 5 points.
All right. So you had your successful sand roll, so no Mythos for you.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But I'm in the middle. So I failed my sand roll, but I only lost 4. So
you still get the Mythos points.
I still get them. Okay.
You lost sand.
I did.
I'm gonna call it that, where you lost sand. Okay, so only Mr. Major Barnes is going to have a bout of madness.
Yeah.
And Barnes, you lost 10 full sanity points, didn't you?
Yeah. Started 50, the session at 48, and so I'm now 38.
Rock on. Yeah. That's right. That's right. I like to hear that. Give me a D10, please.
Oh, another one. Okay. 5. Smack dab in the middle.
Tell me about your character. What kind of things was your character? Is Major Barnes religious? Did Major Barnes have an ideology or a philosophy in life that was important to him?
Oh, definitely. Queen and country all the way. Save the goodness of Western civilization from the horrors of barbaric madness.
So this display of barbarism in front of you, this creature seems to just be barbarism manifested. Okay, and it really touches something deeply within you that completely erodes and destroys your faith in queen and country, your I mean, this all just kind of this actually it feels like something that has been kind of welling within you for years, questioning your place in your service to Great Britain, and just this show of barbarism, this creature, this abomination from God itself, it finally broke those barriers. And in this moment, you care nothing for country, for queen. You are disgusted by your service and that you partook. You wasted your life in service to queen and country. And from now on out, you will have nothing to do with the military. And if you have any opportunity to defile and spit at anything that remotely represents nationalism, you are completely going to destroy it. So for you right now, that thing, it may as well be wearing the crown jewels, and you want to destroy it.
Oh, bloody hell. Charge!
It looks like Mr. Barnes is bolting for the door
with my trusty club.
Major Barnes, no! We have to get out of here.
Run, miss! I'll keep it back. This bloody hell!
No, you need to get out of here. I'm kind of following after him.
Okay.
We're still in a part of the room, though, looking out the window. Is that what we're doing?
So you're elevated above the battle scene. So that means to get down to the warehouse floor, you'll have to exit this door, head down the metal stairwell that goes straight down to the floor. Now, luckily, the warehouse is fairly big, and the warehouse had those racks of things. It is conceivable, if you are quick enough or stealthy enough, just plain lucky enough, you could get down the stairs and then make a beeline for the giant garage door and head out the back, because that garage door is still open, and you could head out that way, because the creature is basically where it's standing. If your intention was to head through the little person door that would lead back into the store, the import store proper, then you would definitely be bumping elbows with this creature because it's kind of in between. That just happens to be where it's standing. But if you were to come down the stairs and try and kick it out to the garage doors, it's very possible that you could escape. Hopefully. Depends upon how fast it is, right?
Well, that's how the women and children should go, and perhaps Uncle. But Mr. Crane, we can shoot at this thing from here.
The second I get a good clear shot, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Try to shoot it in the eye.
My instinct is to wave the young and unarmed past and smash out a window so that you could fire without the glass being a problem.
The window's probably open like that in there.
If they have, if they're not open.
Circulate. All right. So as soon as I get a clear shot, I'm going to shoot at the thing, whether that's walking out the door onto the stairs and shooting, or going to a window and opening the window.
Yeah, in my mind, the windows from the office don't actually open. It's just a big pane of glass. You can smash through it if you want, or just go through the door. There's a little bit of a platform, there, so you could stand there and lording over and just got bang, bang, bang if you wanted.
I think that's what I want to do because I don't want to break the glass. It'll make too much noise.
Sure.
I mean, it might give the creature a direction. The gunshot might not.
All right, but don't get in the way. We've got to get the ladies out of here.
So I'll go out the door and then sort of hang on the railing and aim and shoot.
Okay. And then Mr. Barnes, were you leading the charge down?
I
think he was ahead of us.
Much of a choice. I
think he's the only charge.
Yeah,
I'm trying to follow behind him to try to tug on his.
I'm gonna roll this. I'm gonna roll this for Mr. Barnes. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of keep track of something, and I'll let you know when you are more in your right mind.
Thank you.
So Mr. Barnes is going and he's got a club. He's got a table leg.
Back to hell you go.
And Miss Lockhart, I had heard, unless something changed, you were chasing after Mr. Barnes. Are you attempting to stop him, restrain him, or join him in the battle?
I'm not trying to join him. I'm trying to just kind of stop him. What are you doing?
Okay.
Things hurt everybody else. I don't want you to get hurt. Just stop.
Okay, Mr. Ramachandran, what are you going to do?
I'm staying up with Mr. Crane.
Okay.
I only have my cane. I don't have a pistol.
Right.
What could I do? There's nothing I could do.
All right, Herr Hauptmann, what are you doing?
I'm trying to usher the uncle and women and children to this large open door out of the way, so they can hustle out into the street and away from this madness.
So, Mr. Ramachandran and Mr. Crane are staying at the top platform of the metal stairs. Mr. Barnes and Miss Lockhart, they dash down initially, and after they reach the ground floor, Miss Lockhart is going to attempt to physically restrain and maybe snap some sense into Mr. Barnes, and then right behind them, Herr Hauptmann is leading Uncle Goru and everyone else who are up in the living quarters, shuttling them off towards the large door. So I need Miss Lockhart. You and Mr. Barnes are actually going to have opposed strength rolls in an attempt to restrain him. So if each of you would make a strength test, don't worry about any penalty dice or anything like that. I just want to have you guys have a opposed compared strength
41
rolls.
out of 70.
88 to fail.
All right. So Mr. Barnes, was yours a success?
Yeah, 41 out of 70.
Okay, roll a D3.
Oh, no. 3. Or 2.
2. Miss Lockhart, as you go to try and restrain him, Mr. Barnes just unconsciously, or maybe it was consciously, backhanded you right in the face. Take 2 points of damage, and you fall to the floor. Mr. Crane, give me what's the rate of fire for your weapon?
It's 1 or 3.
What do you want to do?
I'm probably just going to go.
Okay, go ahead.
Worse.
Yep. So go ahead and give me. You're going to give me 3 rolls. Go ahead and do the first roll standard, and then the second 2 rolls are going to have penalty dice for the multiple shots.
Now, shouldn't the first one also have a penalty dice because of my skills?
Because of your sleep deprivation. So let's go ahead and do that. Yep.
All right. 19. My firearms is 35.
Okay.
Success. 09. So I got the first shot.
So we'll take the 19. Okay.
Okay. And then the second shot is 51. It's already a failure.
And now third shot.
That's a 30, but I need to do a penalty dice. 82. Okay, so only the first one's going to hit.
All right. So yeah, you know, kind of shooting wide, but one of them does hit. So go ahead and roll your damage
7
for that
points
die.
of damage.
7 points of damage. Great. Okay, there it is.
And I've spent 3 bullets. I've got 8.
Okay, great. Yep, keep a track of that. I'm gonna keep track of this. Okay. And then Herr Hauptmann, you get the family down the stairs, and you start pushing off. The women and Sanjay, they bolt like lightning, and they take off. And then Goru is standing there with Uncle, and Uncle grabs onto your shirt and is pulling on you. And Goru says, "You must all come. You must come. You know, everything depends upon you. You must flee with us. Come, come."
I will bring the others. Tell me where to go.
Please, just let's get out into the alley and we'll make our escape together. Uncle has a place for us to flee to.
But how will they find us?
Now.
How will Crane find us? And Barnes?
They must come now, too. Come, all of you, come.
But this creature won't it follow us?
We must flee before it can get to us.
So I look back into the warehouse, right? And the thing, did it respond to the shot?
Yeah. So when it gets shot, it shakes its head, and it does, you know, kind of it, you know, like a dog cocking its head. It cocks its head, and it seems, even though it's got these giant, you know, multifaceted compound eyes, it kind of turns up, and you get the sense that it is looking up at Mr. Crane and Mr. Ramachandran.
Did we see it actually get physically injured, or did the bullets bounce off?
Yeah, it looks like you may have injured it. I mean, it's not like your eyes can track the bullets, right. But you have a sense like I know I hit it.
Like a little explosion of.
Yeah, there may have been a little pip, a little plip.
Is there any buddy between me and the critter?
Yes, Mr. Barnes and Miss Lockhart is laying on the floor. You just saw Barnes deck her,
right,
and she fell to the floor.
Right. It was a backhand, not wasn't it?
So I'm gonna you know, I nod to Goru and say we're coming, and then I'm gonna run up and try to help Miss Lockhart to her feet.
Okay.
And that'll probably take a round.
Yes, so you go and get her.
My intention is to then, you know, is to yell for Crane and Barnes and throw my knife at the thing while I encourage them to run after us. But I'm not sure I can do all of that. That's just where I'm headed.
Right. So for this new round, Hauptmann is going to run to go and help Miss Lockhart up. Mr. Barnes is, I believe, going to be charging at this creature in madness.
Back to
in
hell,
absolute
from whence you came.
red vision madness. Crane, Ramachandran, what do you guys do?
I think
Uncle is like, come.
I'm going to sort of motion for Ramachandran to go.
I think at this point, it being a moment of high stress, a certain stop playing that face.
I know. I'm like, do a screen freeze.
My rather affected mannerisms perhaps slip a little, and I grab Crane by the sleeve and say, Crane Saab, we must go now.
Yes. Go.
You're fighting a losing battle.
I'm going to shoot at it when I get to the bottom of the stairs. We can go out. We got to get Major Burns.
Okay, so you guys start running down the stairs.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are running down the stairs. Barnes, give me an attack roll.
There's a hit, but it's a penalty die. So, come on, 55 did it, and 75 didn't do it. Oh, can I spend luck?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because my brawl's a 70, so I'll spend 5 luck to bang, to get a good contact with this club.
There you go.
How about you?
Take that, you foul beast. Oh, I don't have much luck. Need to do something about that luck.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have a weapons table in here?
So I've got a 1 damage bonus.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can find a... Let's see if there's...
Impress
Good.
club.
Yes.
Damage.
I got it right here. It's a handy dandy little booklet here. D8 plus damage bonus.
Nothing can possibly go wrong. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Was that a good or a bad?
No, I rolled a 1. And
that was a bad.
I got 2. I'm extremes all the time. It's just, there's no middle ground.
Okay. So yeah, you whack this thing, and it just kind of, it gurgles and looks down right at you.
You hit me as hard as you hit the creature. Come on.
I think he hit you harder.
But
oh no, he did hit you the same.
Two,
that's right.
damage.
2 points. All right. Okay. So Mr. Crane, you can shoot. Mr. Barnes is in the way.
What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to run up to Barnes and say, the women need protection, and take a couple of pot shots at this thing from close up, and then try to drag him back.
All right. So you would get a bonus die. I would award a bonus die for that proximity, and he's so big. So that'll offset your penalty. So go ahead and are you shooting once? I mean, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do the 3 again.
Okay.
So regular, then penalty.
Yeah, regular, penalty.
All right. The first one I got a 40, so I'm going to spend 5 luck points.
Okay.
To make that a success. The second one, 54. That's already a fail. The second one is 16 and 83. Yeah, so fail.
Okay.
So I do another 6 points of damage to it, and grab Barnes in the process.
a chunk of it splinters off of it, like a carapace from a roach being blasted off, and it howls this unearthly sound that chills you to your bones. It raises its dual claws, that like giant mantis claws, and it looks like it's going to pierce them down into both you and Mr. Barnes as it rears up to do it. You can see it starting to almost like shimmer and scintillate with light, like it's producing a bioelectric light, and it's starting to like shimmer and twinkle with lighting. And as it rears its claws up, I mean, your life is starting to flash before your eyes. There's a dark dash suddenly in front of you as Sanjay, coming out of nowhere, he body slams into this thing, and the two of them topple over and fall to the floor. And now this thing has wrapped its claws around Sanjay, and the two of them are beginning to twinkle.
They're both twinkling.
Yes, the creature's twinkling effect is now enveloping Sanjay, and he's sitting there yelling, "Run! Run!"
All right,
Can I grab a hold of Sanjay's leg and pull him out? Or
you can try.
Yeah, I want to try at least.
Okay, give me a dex roll.
35. What's my dex? 50.
Okay. Yeah, you grab his leg, and your arm goes numb from the feeling of it. Give me a sand roll.
All right. 93. That's a fail.
Roll a d6.
Oh boy.
You better not charge this thing now.
5 points.
Give me an idea roll.
Oh,
God. 58. I passed.
Give me a d10.
5.
So yeah, similar to Barnes, what is something deep seated and what's a pillar in Mr. Crane's life?
Well, what I've got for my ideology is I belong to the Church of England.
Okay.
And I go with my wife and 3 children regularly. So
okay.
I'm a good, upright Christian.
Yeah. This creature, you feel this numbing coldness, and you know that you are touching an element of hell. An
Right.
element of hell itself is freezing through your veins. Okay. And your hand begins to darken, like it's like your hand is dying, and you pull back, and in your mind you're watching your hand turn a dark black, and it almost starts to turn crystalline, like you can start to see through your hand because of the crystalline effect. And as you attempt to move your fingers and twitch your fingers, they crumble and fall off. Okay, and your hand is just beginning to crystallize and crumble like black snow, falling from fingertips to palm to wrist. And as you're holding onto your arm, you can feel the freezing happening, and you just start walking backwards, holding onto your hand, holding onto your arm, looking, staring at this hand. And all you can feel, that runs through your mind is I've been touched by hell, and you feel that you are no longer worthy for the kingdom of God. You feel like this is what it feels like this is the actual manifestation of falling from grace. And you know that you are no longer worthy of God's love and of a heavenly afterlife. You know that this is just the beginning of eternal damnation. Okay, and so you're grabbing your arm and you're walking backwards as you're having this philosophical thing, and everybody else just sees Crane like try and touch, and then he just kind of does this and is walking backwards, silently muted, just looking at his fan, and he's just moving his fingers in front of his face.
Barnes, do you have your sword?
No, it's at the hotel. I have this
a knife
club.
Somewhere. If thine eye offends thee, cut it off. My hand offends me, I must remove it.
What are you saying, man?
It's the hand of hell. And
as you're having this conversation, you all see this creature and Sanjay, and they begin to get lighter in color, transparent, and eventually the twinkling goes away as they both evaporate into midair, and they're gone.
Reiner, do you have a knife? I saw you have a knife.
Yes,
Please,
you cut
off my arm.
Hurry, Crane. Uncle will fix it. If the uncle doesn't fix, I will fix. But come, we must rush. Barnes, you come too.
So yeah, Goru is running
So
in.
Uncle
He's
will
grabbing.
make it safe.
Goru's running in. He grabs all of you by your shirt collars and coats, and he's like, "Come!" And he's physically pulling all of you until you finally all start to move and run. Barnes, you finally, with the creature gone, your head clears. Crane, as you're being physically dragged by Goru, there's like a fog that lifts from your mind, and there's your hand, whole and complete, and the freezing effect is gone, but it's not something you'll ever forget. You still remember that, but your hand is there. It did not crumble away.
Do we take sand checks for seeing that mass disintegration and twinkling?
You didn't see? Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's do that too. It doesn't actually state it for that, but yeah, let's do that.
I mean,
I don't think I saw it. I was looking at
you didn't see it. No, you didn't see it. You were in your hallucination.
I'm trying to stop my nosebleed from getting smacked in the face, and my ears are ringing from all the gunshots, and I'm just disoriented and like panicking and kind of ushered out the back by Reiner. So
okay,
I think I would have found it impossible not to look. I've passed.
Fantastic.
With a 16.
Oh, nice. Did anybody fail for looking and seeing the disappearance? Okay,
80,
lose D3.
81.
Lose D3.
Thank goodness.
I thought he was going to say D12 or something.
Oh yeah, I rolled 12.
D3.
Okay, I lost 2. I'm going to roll a D12 just to see. Oh geez, 11 on it. But anyway, so 2. Thank you. I don't know why I'm thanking you for sanity loss.
Herr Hauptmann, did Herr Hauptmann witness the vanishing act or no?
I gave it a 50-50 chance and rolled no. I guess I was struggling with Phoebe.
I am totally cool with that. So yeah, the beast is gone. Sanjay is gone. Goru pulls you all. You all make it to the alleyway, and Uncle says, quickly this way. The women are gone. He while you guys were struggling, Uncle must have said something to them, and they hightailed it out of here. But through Goru, as translating for some of you, Uncle says, we must go this way, and he begins a midnight trek through the city, and you guys start running through alleyways, and you take different corners, even at midnight and closing in on 1 o'clock in the morning. Calcutta is a very lively, even in this 20s time period. There are still areas that are wide awake and active, but you guys are quickly leaving that behind. You're moving into areas of the city with fewer and fewer functioning electronic lighting. You start moving into areas where garbage is more prevalent and piled up in the street corners. And it soon dawns on you guys that, again, while there's no definitive lines of borders, you guys get the sense like we've crossed into Blacktown, right? So now you've gone into this more poverty-stricken area of Calcutta, and you guys keep up the, and it's you're amazed at the stamina that Uncle shows for a man of clearly his age, but he shows incredible vigor and stamina as you guys keep moving and moving and moving, and you get into an area where it's the housing, it's just rows of dilapidated shacks that are just slapped up one immediately against the other. They're single story, they're super narrow, and you're it's like you're running through a rat's maze of these shacks, and every one of them looks exactly like another. And so finally you come into this one area, and Uncle stops, and he pushes open a door that is barely hanging on its hinges. He pushes this open, and he ushers you in. Quickly, in.
Certainly.
You enter into a room that simply has, it's a small shack with just two rooms. A front room, there's a wall, and a back room. There are no facilities in here. There's one potbelly stove. It's an actual ground dirt floor. There's no platform or anything. It's just the literal earth right there. And there's only, this shack of a door. There's corrugated metal that have been cut, holes in it for air ventilation and a little bit of visibility. But he ushers you in. He and Goru come in, and they just collapse to the ground. You guys have been, moving nonstop for over half hour.
I'm going to squat down and light a cigarette.
Okay.
And I'll just sort of not necessarily offer them, but with the cigarette case open, just put it on the floor and sort of push it towards the others without saying anything.
I did my best to try and save him.
There was nothing we could do. You saw the size of that thing. What could we do?
Apparently gave me the illusion that my hand had withered.
Oh, that was... Oh, yeah.
Seems okay now, but I won't forget it.
What the hell got into you, Barnes?
I don't know. I just felt compelled that I had to beat it back to where it came from.
Uncle Goru, do we know what this demon is? Have you seen a thing like this before?
Uncle says, I've never encountered that before. I don't know what it is.
But this is the adversary's pet. Yeah.
It is definitely the work of the adversary, yes.
Is there any water?
There's nothing. There's a potbelly stove that's cold, and it sits on a plank of plywood. So there's one square of flooring in this room, and the potbelly stove is standing on it. But the stove is cold and dark, and there's no water. Goru says there should be a rain barrel outside. You could take water from it.
Yeah, just want to wash up. Hands are covered from my nosebleed, and my face just
my God,
covered in blood.
Lockhart, what happened?
You happened just dismissive hand and going out to the rain barrel.
I'll offer Miss Lockhart my handkerchief.
Thank you, Mr. Ramachandran.
So take stock of what you have with you. This is what you have.
So none of our equipment made it from the hotel.
Nothing.
A kitchen knife, my grandfather's watch, a sweaty clothing.
I have a gun with 2 bullets.
I have a table leg.
Monocle.
Cane, a small penknife, a notebook and pencil, and a pocket watch.
And I'll have one of those cigarettes after all, thank you, Mr. Ramachandran.
Yes, please help yourself.
I would smoke my pipe, but my pipe is not here.
Good grief.
Uncle, we have tomorrow to go, even though we have been so outed. Is that right? We don't have time to wait for our things or make new plans.
Can we go back tomorrow and then run? Do we have trucks, or how will we travel?
We should make for the train station. If we can get aboard the train, we should be safe as we begin our travels west.
But Uncle G, is this what it will be from now on? Is this what our lives are now? I mean, you said that we were here to defend this library, but after that, these people are we marked now? Will they ever stop coming after us?
I don't have those answers. I don't know. I hope for peace and a respite. I hope to be able to free you all from this duty that the pilgrim has called for you. But hopefully it will be over soon.
We must make it first to the hotel. We have vital supplies there for this mission.
Uncle considers your words and says, there may be an underground bazaar that we could visit here in Blacktown. If there's things that you need, we should be able to acquire them here, and then we can go directly to the train station. I guarantee if you go back to your hotel, I am sure there will be more violence and bloodshed as the adversaries know of your whereabouts there. I am fairly certain that the adversaries are not aware of this place, this hideout. If we stay here and make for the train station immediately up on sunrise, then we should be safe. We can hit the underground bazaar now if you'd like. Try and do that, get some rest, and then get up for the train.
Where are we going to the west?
We make for the Thar Desert.
The Thar Desert. That's all the way on the other side.
It is all the way on the other side of the continent, of the country.
Are we just stop anywhere along the way?
The train will make many, many stops, but they will all be fairly short.
I'm very fatigued. We say there is some sort of a bazaar where we can get some supplies.
I think you could use some more bullets for that gun, which might have saved us, and I would not mind having a pistol of my own. Do they sell such things as guns and ammunition?
There is very little that is not available at the Underground Bazaar.
Then let's go. We might as well. We can sleep on the train. Ha ha ha.
Yes, I agree. I've never been inclined to towards firearms, but I must say that I was struck by the feeling of powerlessness. Yes, let us go to the market.
Okay. Uncle speaks to Goru, and Goru says, "Okay, Uncle will stay here. I will take you to the bazaar."
Does someone want to stay here and keep an eye on Uncle? We can purchase something for you.
No, you all run along. Here, Mr. Hopman, take some money. That's what I have. I just would like just some change of clothes.
Yeah. I'll get some loose, colorful scarves for you. You could look like anything you want. And some maybe a practical glove. How are your shoes?
Oh, my shoes are fine.
All right then. Don't try to stay awake, but you know, don't sleep too deeply.
Right.
We shall return as soon as we may.
All right.
Okay, so Miss Lockhart stays behind with Uncle. Is everyone else going to the bazaar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Goru got instructions from Uncle, and so he leads you guys through this through, like I said, it's like a rat's maze, little alleyways that dead end and other ones open, and it's all these little hovels they look like they're just built out of corrugated metal and planks of plywood, right? Just really, really shabbily put together. They look like basically deluxe lean-tos almost, right? So they're just, really bad structures. But he threads you guys through, and you come to an area, and it looks like it's a large open tent, and sure enough, there's some small lanterns and everything in there, and even at this hour of night, there is a beehive of activity in here. People are moving about. There's low murmurs of conversations, and sure enough, in this large tent, there are at least a dozen merchants set up with these little table areas, and there's a wide variety of items for sale. What are you guys looking for?
I had a service revolver. What is the closest thing I can find to the service revolver that I packed with me?
Okay. Give me a luck roll.
Luck roll. Oh, great. I burnt it well down. Oh, 06. Okay, I did it. I've made it.
Okay. So you do find a merchant who does have one box of your ammunition. He actually has that available because he doesn't have the weapon itself. And so he hasn't been able to sell it because he wasn't able to pair it with a viable weapon for it. So you do find a box of those rounds.
But my service revolver is back at the hotel, so the luck wasn't that good.
But you did find that he does have a Howdah pistol. So this is a little bit of an older style weapon. Historically, before the increased effectiveness of revolvers, many gun manufacturers produced a variety of multi-barrel pistols. So this would be something that people have been used to protect themselves or hunt tigers and stuff. So this is a pistol, and it's got not just one barrel, with a revolving cylinder. It's got like five barrels, right? So these 5 barrels all clustered together, and each barrel gets loaded with a single bullet. Okay. but it is slow to fire. You are limited to only one shot every other round. Okay.
That is fine.
So yes, you can purchase a Howdah pistol. So you can write this down. It's a HOWDAH.
Oh, 1 second. HOWEDAH.
Howdah pistol.
Pistol.
So what is your firearms skill?
It is not bad. It is 50.
Okay, yep. So you've got that. So the damage for this will be 3d4.
4. Nice.
And again, like I said, it has a rate of fire of 1 every other round.
Okay, perfect. And how many rounds comes with it? 5 or 10? Or?
So you can load 5. So there's 5 barrels, and each barrel gets its own bullet. So there's also like 5 hammers, right? So you gotta cock a hammer, but the trigger will only do 1 at a time. You can't like cock 5 of them and shoot all 5 simultaneously. It doesn't work that way.
Excellent. Any spare ammunition for that?
Yeah. So you have a box of 25 rounds now for that.
25 rounds. Thank you very, very much. The last thing, and hope this should not be too hard, my prized possession, which was my cavalry saber, which was also back at the hotel, which I'm very well versed in.
Yes. Okay. Give me a luck roll for a cavalry saber.
Or something close. Let's see if... 31 out of 35.
Okay. So while you do not find a cavalry saber, you find 2 swords that actually would meet your needs. You can have both or one, whichever you would like. One is called a kirpan, and it's basically a short sword, and it has a swooping curve to it. It's an excellent blade. Or you could get a kukri, and it's more of a heavy sword, also with a curve in it.
I'll go with the first one, since I'm more familiar with the cavalry saber.
Okay, kirpan.
Yeah.
So kirpan, it'll use the exact same skill as your cavalry saber, and it does damage of 1d4 plus 2 plus damage bonus.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
I'm probably with Major Barnes since I'm looking for bullets.
Okay.
I'm going to want a box of British Arsenal dum-dum bullets, hollow points.
Okay. Give me a luck roll.
Interestingly enough, dum-dum is right outside of Calcutta. It's a town. 43 out of 45.
Yeah, you find exactly what you're looking for. So
It's in the box 25.
Box of 25, and so put another +1 on the damage then for the hollow point.
All right. And I can't think of anything else I want except maybe a new pipe.
Okay, you have a pipe.
All right.
All right.
While they're negotiating with the gun dealer, I'm going to ask Guru, because I'm not really much of a hand with handguns. I'm accustomed to using a rifle. So I'm going to ask Guru about the politics of carrying a rifle around on a trip to the West, on the train, etc. Am I going to stand out and look like a dangerous maniac?
Guru smiles and says, the train is far less restrictive for its travelers than the ports are.
Mm-hmm. I thought that might be the case. And where we're going, a man in the desert with a rifle is not going to seem strange at all.
Definitely not.
All right. So that's what I'd like from the gun merchant.
All right, give me a luck roll.
8 for 63. No good.
So what were you looking for? What kind of rifle?
Something machined in German. That's what I'm used to from the war.
Okay.
Maybe there's a shotgun instead that I can settle for.
Right. So instead of what you were looking for, what you find is you do find a merchant who has he hears what you're asking for, and he says, "No, sir, I don't have anything quite exactly like that, but can I interest you in this?" And he takes some effort, and he pulls this large, long box out from underneath the desk, and he flips the lid open, and inside you see a large elephant gun. He says, "I have this. Now, the trigger mechanism needs some repair work. If you wanted to see if maybe you could work on that, I could make you an excellent deal on this."
Yeah, I'll have some time on the train to muck about with it, and I have a little bit of technical talent, and I'll barter a little bit to see about the shells. Is it incredibly heavy?
I mean, it's a pretty good size. I mean, the case is weighing it down. If you were to just simply carry it without it, it's carryable, but it's it's an elephant gun, so it's got some heft to it.
I bet it'd blow that bug monster's head right off, though.
It could do some damage.
All right, it's a deal, and a suitable box of ammunition.
Yes,
like the biggest shell, and not very many of them.
Yeah, so he actually has a bag, like a messenger bag with just loose shells in it. So there's 30 shells in there. He's just like, "I've got this." Right now, your elephant gun. So you now have the elephant gun. The elephant gun is not usable until you've had a successful mechanical repair roll on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If it is repaired, this weapon does 3d6 plus 4 damage.
Boom.
And it will hold 2 shells at a time. So you can load it, fire once, fire again, chuck it, and reload it.
We also all go deaf when you
and choose which arm you no longer want, because it'll just kick it right off.
Knock you over, yeah.
That's good. We will spend some time on the train. I also at the market, I'm looking for a water flask, a flask of oil to carry for oil lamps.
Done.
Oh yes, a flashlight. Yeah.
Done.
Torch.
Right. I need a hat because I'm going to the desert and I'm going to burn to a crisp.
I love the practical thinking. Yes, you have a hat. It's a beanie with a twirler on top.
I can fly. Additional dress for, if there's a loose couple of shirts for me, that's great. But mostly we need something for Phoebe. I want to get, again, I promised her some colorful scarves. There's probably some light flowing.
Yep.
Whatever.
There's some fantastic and beautiful Indian garb for women.
Batik.
Yeah, get Phoebe some, and even maybe something that she won't look so European in. She's covered.
There you go.
There's dry rations here too we can stock up on, so each one of us can have sustenance. Yep. All right, good.
Sure. Mr. Ramachandran.
My experience of firearms is limited exclusively to shooting weekends in England when I was at university, and I've only ever used shotguns. So I don't really regard myself as having expertise with anything else. So I will try and find A double-barreled shotgun.
Give me a luck roll.
For preference, one made in Birmingham. And I have rolled 13 out of 38. That's a pass.
Mr. Ramachandran, you certainly do not come across as a rube, to use a Western term for these guys. And so as you come in and you're inquiring about a double-barreled shotgun, you find exactly what you were looking for. So you find the shotgun that you were looking for with 25 rounds of ammunition.
Do they have any? Are they called slugs? Solid or some sort of heavy shot.
Yep. The heavy. Yeah, these are the heavy slugs. You can have a box of those.
Splendid.
So shotguns do. So you've got your. Do you have stats on a shotgun?
Not for this character.
Okay, I can tell you.
I know there's damage changes with range, doesn't it?
Yeah. So here we go. It does change with range. So you have a 12 gauge double barrel shotgun. Okay.
Nice.
It depending upon the range, it'll do from short, medium, long. It'll do 4d6 or 2d6 or 1d6.
Okay, is it 10, 30, 50 yards?
10, 20, 50.
10, 20, 50.
I should have asked Ramachandran to shop for my cavalry saber.
Somehow he seems always to go last.
Did John freeze?
No, John did not freeze. I just now started reading the chat. Sorry.
Oh, look, and it's made by the Bristol Small Arms Company. Oh,
yep.
A lovely
shotgun.
Shame it couldn't be a Purdy, but
so
very nice.
So while the gentlemen are away shopping, Miss Lockhart, you are back with Uncle in the shack, and after everyone leaves, you can see Uncle. He kind of sets himself up to sit in a lotus position as he just tries to relax his mind and body, and he's sitting right next to the potbelly stove. As he tries to relax, you can see as he tries to relax, just like it's like the years weigh on him now. It's almost as if in his moments of rest, that's when the age catches up to him.
Well, so while he's sitting there doing his meditation, I want to see if I can pick up on what he's doing. I'll even just ask, please, Uncle, if you could try to teach me your ways of meditation again. I was struggling to learn it when we were back in your apartment.
Do you speak Hindi?
Oh, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't speak English, so he's having a little bit of a communication barrier with Guru gone and everyone else who's able to freely communicate. Give me a psychology.
Yeah, 32 is not going to cut it.
Okay. Yeah, so he just kind of sits there and is trying to be restful and calm himself.
Well, since I can't talk, I'll kind of just mimic what he's doing.
Okay.
Cross my legs the same way, posture myself the same way.
Okay.
Breathing.
Make an attempt at your deep breathing meditation or deep breathing skill.
This with the penalty dice?
This will be with penalty die.
Okay, so 81 compared to my 1. No,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh my god, you rolled a 1 at first. Oh no. Yeah. So you have only a 1 skill.
I have a 1 skill. 81 was my roll. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I take it you don't want to spend the luck points.
No.
Yeah, you're just sitting there just trying to get into that space, but it's really difficult. Give me a spot hidden. Don't worry about a penalty die, but you do need a hard success. I'm just thinking about something.
Well, 16. I will spend the 4 points of luck to make that a hard.
Okay. So as you are trying to rest and sit in this lotus position, you're trying to get comfortable also. You do notice that piece of plywood that the potbelly stove sits on, that some of the earth it has been hollowed out, dug out from underneath it. So it looks like the plywood is covering a portion of a hole.
I'll kind of get curious. I give up on the meditation because that's not going well. And I'll slide it out of the way.
Okay, so you try and move the plywood.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you're moving the plywood, it kind of pivots, and the potbelly stove, pivots with it a bit. And Uncle, his eyes snap open, and he puts hands out towards you. These thin hands with like almost like rice paper skin, and he's just kind of shaking his hands. He goes, no.
That's a little odd. Well, is there enough for me to look at what's under there?
Yeah, you can see it's a small hole, and there seems to be something in there, and his hands shake, and the only English that he can say is no, and then he starts saying things in Hindi, and shaking his head, and he places one soft hand on yours, and he shakes his head, and he goes, no.
I kind of just look at him and shrug.
And then he starts speaking in Hindi again, and he's thoughtful, and he speaks in Hindi again as he's like grand gesturing at the sky, fictitiously. I mean, you guys are indoors, but he gesturing to the sky, and he points to himself as he speaks again, and he just goes, he goes no, and he just kind of puts his hands down like no.
Well, I'm gonna wait for him to start. I'll sit back and relax and wait for him to start meditating again, and I'm going to move it when he's distracted.
Okay.
I don't want to upset him, but now he sparked my curiosity, and after all this worrying, I need something to keep my. It's like now I'm just going to be worried if I don't know what it is.
So if you're going to try and be sneaky about this, then give me a stealth roll.
I have a feeling this is going to go poorly based on my other. 39 against the 20 stealth. So no, I guess I'm not going to be stealthy. I don't think that's worth 19 luck.
No?
No.
Okay. So in your attempt to move it, trying to be stealthful, you failed to be stealthful, and Uncle kind of tamps a hand down on the plywood. This is the most forceful you've ever seen it be. And so he stands up and he gestures for you to stand with him.
I'll stand up.
Okay. Now this little shack, I said earlier, it's just 2 rooms. There's a front room and then there's a back room. Okay. So he goes to the little divide, between the 2 rooms, and he gestures for you to follow.
I said, I don't know what you're hiding, but I want to find out. Even if you can't understand me, I say
Sure.
it as I finish casting aside the plywood.
Okay. And so Uncle, he looks dejected and stands there. So you push aside this plywood, and the potbelly stove kind of moves offside with it. And as you do that, you can see there's you see 3 small items in there. Now, they look to be made of metal. One looks like a thin piece of metal. It has divots, little circular, and sometimes some of them are squared little divots on this sheet of metal, and then there's like a series of little needles sticking out the bottom. So it's almost, in today's terms, it's about the size of like a smartphone. And so you could hold it in one hand, and it seems like on the face of it, one side is smooth, and on the face of it, what you assume is the face, has these little divots on it, and then at the bottom of it are a cluster of a few needles sticking out. There's just one of that item, and then the other 2 items basically look the same, but they are each individual. And these 2 items, they almost look like a wad of metal, almost like maybe metal that melted weird into like a hand-sized chunk. And from this hand-sized chunk, it looks like there's small little tubules and wiring that's kind of loop and anchored, to it in weird ways. So, there might be a loop of wire with both ends of that wire anchored into this metal thing, and it almost has this strange, almost like an ergonomic kind of holding to it, as if maybe it sat in your palm like this, and your fingers would fit here, and if you did, there'd be like a little, like a small hole over on this side here. But then you have those 2 things there.
I'm baffled.
And so once you have these 3 items, Uncle begins to speak again in a fairly not furious, but a very fluid manner, where he seems to be just talking very quickly, and he gestures at the items, he gestures at himself, he gestures at his head, he almost puts his hands together, almost in a prayer like motion, and then he gestures to the floor, with where the hole is. And then he's at the items again in your hand, and down to the hole in the floor.
I'm gonna go like a Goru. Does Goru know about this?
And he says, "Oh, Goru," and then you point at the items,
Yeah.
and then he says, and he goes, and he nods his head yes. It says, "Goru," and he gestures at the 3 items. Goru.
How does your activator lean down to pick one of them up?
Oh, I assumed you already had all 3 of them in your hand.
Yeah, I'll scoop them up. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just kind of now fiddling with them. So just tinkering them, putting them like on my hand where they seem like they would go. Just trying to discern any purpose.
Okay.
I'm terrible with mechanics because I've never dealt with them in my life. So this is totally unfamiliar to me.
All right. Give me a power roll.
No penalty dice?
No penalty dice. I just want to have a power roll.
47 is a pass.
Okay. And what is your POW?
50.
Okay. Yeah. So you're doing the warty potato, one of the warty potatoes, or the little cell phone.
The little cell phone.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything. So as you're playing with it, Uncle, kind of is doing that thing where he's like, where he's not saying anything, but he'll like, like he realizing that he can't say anything because there's this communication barrier.
Right. So fiddling with the strange needle smartphone size thing. Once flipping that around doesn't yield any insights, I'll screw with the other
warty potatoes,
warped potato tube wire things.
Give me a power roll on that.
88. No, that's fail.
Yeah, it's you're holding it in weird ways, and again, as you continue to do that, Uncle's like, and he eventually kind of gives up trying to talk to you. Your gut says that he's probably given up trying to reason with you, and he sits down, but he continues to watch you.
Well, I'm just gonna go sit in a corner and kind of just continue to fiddle with them, just trying to keep in mind off the fact that this is in the last couple of days. There's like the second person. There's another person that I've known that's gone now. No matter how briefly I knew Adam, no matter how briefly I knew Sanjay, they're both this crazy man that's just gone.
It's gone.
I'm wrapped up in it. Barnes and Crane almost got themselves killed. It's just been, just trying to keep my mind occupied.
All right. Not long after that, the gentleman returned.
Oh, was your shopping successful?
Yes, quite. I think we're well armed now.
Is Goru with you?
Yes, Goru is with them and returns with them.
Hey, Goru, do you know what these things are?
And so Goru is kind of stunned, and he looks at Uncle, and they have a brief conversation. And Goru nods. And he says, "Yes, yes, those are artifacts from when Uncle was a much younger man, and worked very closely with the pilgrim, with the dreaming pilgrim. These are artifacts from a time before. These strange devices," and he points at the warty potatoes. He says, "These were once used by strange creatures, and they were weapons. But have no fear. Uncle has improved on this device, and we will be able to utilize something better than that at the library. These devices, they do not work in human hands. So they are trophies and nothing more."
Question for the keeper. I don't know if they know. I'm pretty fluent in Hindi. That brief conversation between Goro and Uncle, that didn't have anything else in that conversation that would be concerning, would it?
No. Uncle basically said the young lady found the trophies.
Okay.
And so then Goru looks at the other device, the one that's flat, rectangular, with little needles sticking out of the bottom, and he says that particular device, that is a tool constructed for Uncle by the dreaming pilgrim himself, and it's through this tool that the dreaming pilgrim used to as a blessing remove the memories of his actions from Uncle's mind. So the dreaming pilgrim would possess Uncle, as the dreaming pilgrim has possessed you all in the past, and then would use a device like this, as has been used on you all individually in your past lives, to remove those memories. But ever since Uncle and the dreaming pilgrim reached a partnership and built a relationship on trust, the pilgrim no longer removes Uncle's memories, and so that too is a trophy, an artifact of the past life that Uncle used to have. But in some point in your lives, you all, the dreaming pilgrim, constructed a device through each of you, and while you have no memory of it, used it to remove those memories before returning use of your body and mind back to you, which is why you don't remember these actions before.
Well, that's...
GM, do we have any recollection in our lives of missing time?
It works so well. It's so perfected. You don't even notice the gap, unless it was prolific, ongoing, and adversely affected your lives with others to the point where it would be brought up. It doesn't get noticed.
Okay.
And for you guys and gal, You actually don't have a recollection of missing time. You've never had conversations with loved ones or friends or close people, where they've been questioning what you've done and where you've been at certain times. So while you have been told that you've been agents of change through the Dreaming Pilgrim in the past, it certainly must not have been often enough or impactful enough to make you self-aware of that gap.
Presumably our memory of it would just be some innocuous memory of having a nap.
Yep. Or something quite mundane.
We could have entire memories that might have been created to cover these things up.
I just sort of imagined going to the grocery store and then suddenly realizing that I'm, downtown where I shouldn't be. And I don't.
Looking over this device that supposedly erases memories, seeing all the rather sharp-looking needles on it gives me an unsettling kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm. In fact, as you kind of examine that, you suddenly kind of have a sensation of an itch at the back of your skull, right at the hairline. You're like,
So I'm gonna kind of look at Uncle and be like, kind of with the needles.
And as you pantomime that, you do see a slight smile on Uncle's face as he begins to nod.
Oh, I want to make a sand check. I am
right ahead.
Disturbed. Oh, I passed.
Okay, lose one.
Well, I'm going to smoke my pipe.
All right. Now you guys can actually try and get some rest. You've already attempted and made your made or failed your deep meditation rolls, and so those who were successful, you actually get a good night's rest for whatever the rest of it is, and you awaken early in the next morning. So that would be Mr. Barnes and Mr. Ramachandran. You two, for this day, may have physical and mental skill rolls with no penalty dice, and you may perform them normally. Okay.
I believe actually that I paid luck for that last week too, but I'll double check that.
You know what? I think you're right. I apologize. I think you're right. It was just
because I failed the meditation roll, but I think I got lucky enough.
Forced it with luck.
Yeah.
All right. So you as well get your sleep. But for Mr. Crane and Miss Lockhart, each of you, please give me a sleep deprivation sand roll, and let's see how you will fare skill-wise for this day.
So with that 1 point, I just barely lost.
That was enough.
I have 49 sanity, and I rolled an 80.
So for each of you, not only will your skills, physical and mental, have a penalty die, but in order for just run-of-the-mill normal successes, those will need to be hard successes or better. Okay?
Yep.
It's just that much more annoying and difficult day for you guys.
Yeah, I just had dreams. It must have just been dreams about needles going into my neck. It really got me tonight.
How do we gain a skill roll for deep meditation?
Each time Uncle teaches it to you, I will give you an opportunity to make an education, an edu skill, an edu roll, and if you're successful on that, you'll get to add percentile dice to deep skill to your deep meditation skill.
Because I've got 1 point.
Yes, you got 1 point for base. A few of you were able to roll, I think, a D10, and so as Uncle has more opportunities to teach deep meditation, you'll have opportunities to attempt to learn it again and get more skill points, as he's it's a crash course in this thing that he's going to just kind of keep doing for you guys.
I may have asked this also before, but how about luck recovery?
Yes. So I alluded that you guys were going to have like a skill improvements and luck improvements today. I lied because I knew the monster was going to be attacking soon. But there is going to be an opportunity for that in the near future. It just won't be happening today.
Okay.
And also, as
I'm a
a
dirty,
sort of
dirty liar.
as a rules aside in that regard, if somebody were knocked unconscious and spent 8 or 10 hours unaware of their surroundings because of that, would that help their sleep deprivation rules? Or would they just keep plummeting if they were?
They would keep plummeting because that sleep deprivation is being forced on you mentally, whether you're aware of it or not.
Fair enough.
That seems a
Cruel
trifle
and
unnecessary. I mean, if they've got that, if this dreaming pilgrim has this level of technology that they can remove memories and things, is it really necessary to keep us awake for months?
Yeah, just terrible, isn't it? So you guys awaken, and Goru and Uncle are refreshed. Dawn is just the hints of orange are starting to color the sky, and Uncle says, we must go quickly. And he begins the trek through the city back towards Whitetown, and you guys make it to the train station. There at the train station is Anjali and Jaya. So the ladies, they are there, and they all have they have a handful of tickets, and you guys are you guys all have third class tickets to get onto this train. We're gonna be bringing tonight to a close here
On the roof of the train.
shortly, but I wanted to share this with you. So this is your schedule, so you guys can see. It's designed for the game, right? So you can see that you're going to be departing at 7:15 a.m. here on day one. It'll take 3 days to make it to Jodhpur, India. So that's your ultimate destination is Jodhpur. And so you can see here's our schedule, the amount of distance that you'll go. This is a steam train, and so there are several stops along the way that the engine will be topped off and refilled with water in the steam tanks. So in those cases, you can see the arrival and departures, so you can see how long they stay for those water refills. So not too much longer.
About 20 minutes to fill up.
Yeah. Sometimes, they average about 10 minutes or so typically, but at a water filling station, it's a little bit longer in order to account for the water fillings. So there you guys have that schedule. You can see. And so here it is, 7:15 a.m. The train, so you guys have third class seats. This train is like I said, it's a steam train. So there's the engine, there's a coal tender car, there are 2 freight cars, then after the freight cars, which are just basically box cars, then there is a very nice well-appointed passenger Pullman car. Then after that nice first class, second class Pullman, then there's a dining car. So there's a kitchen in there, and there's a seating for meals in that car. And then after the dining car are 2 more cars, and these are Pullmans, but they don't look like they're in the best repair. They look a little more neglected. But these two cars at the tail end of the train, these are the third class cars. So you have seats in the third class. There is no caboose. It just ends with these two third class. Also, this car is so full of people. There's also some small livestock in here, goats and chickens. And there's a lot of kids who are actually riding on top, exterior on top of the car. So this train starts to, finally pull out of Calcutta at 7:15 in the morning, well packed with people, to include you guys. So I think this is a perfect place to put a pin in it for tonight.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Our players included Mick Swan, Stuart Lively, David Gasway, Morgan Llewellyn, and myself with John Hook as the Keeper of the Secrets. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The cost involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.